All right, for more on this, we're joined by CBS News national security analyst Aaron Maclean. He's also the host of the School of War podcast. Aaron, central to this latest round of fighting has been control over the Strait of Hormuz. Does it feel to you that, I mean, the president says the strait is open, the Iranians say it's not. Who's in control?
Neither side is in control. Both are contesting for control. That's indeed the nature of the fighting that we're seeing right now. I mean, essentially the war continues and it has a limited objective, despite its intensity. And the intensity has been steadily increasing over the course of the last week. The number of targets that Central Command cites itself as having hit with each round of strikes seems to increase day by day, to the point where now at this point we're probably over a couple hundred targets all in over the accumulated American strikes. But the purpose of these strikes seems to be to regain control of the Strait of Hormuz, to punish Iranian attempts to control the strait. And obviously that's the purpose of Iranian actions in the strait, to restrict traffic they don't want to see going through on this so-called Amani route in the southern part of the strait, and to punish the United States and its Gulf allies through their strikes on Gulf targets for attempting to control it.
Aaron, you know what's ironic to me is, like, from what the president has said, this isn't even why we started this war. So why has the Strait of Hormuz now become such a major source of conflict between Washington and Tehran?
Well, I'll tell you, this is the nature of war. Sometimes as your war objectives shift as the war goes on. Whatever the theory of the case of victory was at the start of this war, and we can talk about that, it is clear that the belief at the highest levels of the U.S. government would be that this was likely to be a swift war, and that the amount of force that was going to be applied would render it essentially impossible for the Iranians to take countermeasures like, for example, closing the Strait of Hormuz. That turned out to be dramatically a miscalculation of the circumstances, and within a day or two of the start of hostilities, Iran had in fact closed the strait, and here we are. Looking to regain control of this critical global asset that we lost right at the top.
And Aaron, the New York Times is reporting about an Israeli operation to groom one of Iran's former presidents as an intelligence asset in the early days of the war. What can you tell us about that?
Yeah, this is a remarkable story. So assuming this reporting is all true, Mahmoud Ahmadinejad, the former president of Iran, by the way, an outspoken populist, adherent of the regime, Islamist, not a fan traditionally of the United States or Israel, that apparently this man was the target of a multi-year Israeli intelligence operation to cultivate him as the replacement to the current band of men in charge of the country. It, by the way, gives evidence, I think, it fleshes out the case that at the start of this war, there was a coherent theory of victory, that there would be a short, sharp operation along the lines of what we saw in Venezuela, and the current team would be replaced by somebody more compliant with Western interests. Now, it was a coherent theory of victory, obviously a very risky theory of victory, and perhaps, considering it's Mahmoud Ahmadinejad we're talking about here, a slightly crazy theory of victory. And one way or the other, the thing that's clear is that it failed. And the moment that it failed, we moved into these subsequent phases of the conflict that we haven't emerged from yet.
Okay. Aaron, thank you.
Thank you.